Hello everyone, again, Thomas MacEntee here in Chicago, and we're going to talk to you about wikis for genealogists. And what are we going to cover today? Well, here's a brief outline of what we will cover. It looks like a lot of information, but I can guarantee you that we will cover all of it, and also it will be fairly slow. Not slow, but it won't be quick where you're saying, where am I going, what's next, what's next. We are going to spend time on discussing why you would want to use a wiki, what the wiki components are. I believe that's important that you understand the basics. We're going to spend most of our time on family history wikis, information wikis, and research wikis. We're going to show you some examples of things that you can do with those wikis or what people are already doing with these wikis. So that is where much of our time is going to be spent. We will discuss wiki platforms briefly. Some are free, some you have to pay for. We will concentrate on how genealogists can use wikis, and we will show some real examples. Probably up here will be the real examples. And then wiki best practices. If you want to start your own wiki, or if you want to just edit an existing wiki, some of the do's and don'ts that are involved with that. So why? Why wikis? That's what a lot of people ask me. Well, first they asked me, what's a wiki? We had 21% of people didn't know what Wikipedia was. They didn't know what a wiki was. I'm assuming that many of you know what a wiki is, but even if you don't, where does the word come from? The word is actually Hawaiian. It is a Hawaiian word for fast or quick. In fact, here you see a photo of the Wiki bus at the Honolulu airport, which I have taken many times, and it gets you from one terminal to another quickly. And that is how the term for wiki came about in terms of this internet application or internet site. The whole idea is you can find information quickly. You can connect with topics quickly. And in a way, I think it's become part of our lexicon for those of us that are online. Many of us know what a wiki is, but what we don't know is that a wiki is basically your own little internet. That is what you can create. I have created several wikis. Some are private, some are public. And I'll go into the dangers of having a public wiki. It's not all bad, but there are some precautions. But a lot of times it's a great way to organize your information, and then you can go from link to link. And I'm sure that many of us use Wikipedia. I use it as a resource several times a day. One thing I will say, though, is I never use Wikipedia as a source. I will never use it as a source citation on my genealogy. To me, just like when I was growing up, we had the World Book Encyclopedia. These are back in the days when they sold them door to door. And basically that is what I would do when I would want to start a report for homework or learn more about a topic. I would pull out the letter B or the letter C, and it was a resource to get me started. That's how I use it in genealogy. If I want to know about the Palatines and who they were and how they came to the United States, I will get my background information from Wikipedia. It is convenient, and that is what I often use my own wikis for. I'm providing information to other people. Now, how wikis work. I love this Escher drawing, which is a classic if you've seen it. And wiki is basically an open wiki. The true wiki model, which Wikipedia follows, is where anyone can make edits, and you're actually editing either your own content or the content of other people. And people would say, well, then doesn't make it unreliable? Almost anyone can put anything in there. The fact is, if you look at the history of Wikipedia, I believe that the truth floats to the top. You're taking a community that is putting together a lot of information and coming up with what is the truth. And a lot of times these things will change over time based on more information, based on discoveries made. Yes, there are some people that are going to go in and put some not so nice stuff or some items that are not factually true, but if you have a good wiki community like Wikipedia, very often those are removed right away or they're refuted right away. This is all different, folks, than when you're running your own wiki. Okay, we're talking millions of users on Wikipedia, whereas your own wiki, you likely will have one or maybe a handful of users. There is quite a bit of power in a wiki. I know that I could spend 6 hours just floating from topic to topic on a wiki, and that is how much I love them. I think that whole idea of linking to new topics, to new pages, finding out information, that is what its main power is. You will find that wikis are laid out very simply. They are not very complicated. They're actually not complicated to set up and edit either. They do use something called a markup language, which we'll get into. You don't need to know HTML programming per se. Most of these have toolbars that will help you, but there is a lot of power behind a wiki. Very often they're easily set up by a hosting service or on a free platform, and you know, it's like opening up an envelope and pouring it into a glass of water, and boom, you've got an instant soft drink or beverage. That is, to me, what a wiki is. Let's talk briefly about the wiki components. First is, most wikis have a login. Believe it or not, Wikipedia lets you set up an account and create a login. I'm going to hop over to Wikipedia right now. And here we go. A lot of you don't know that there is a button up here called Create an Account. You can create an account that you verify via email, and then once you do that, you actually get a login. I can go ahead and set up a login here, or log in. It's already set up for Wikipedia. And what does that give me rights to? Well, we're going to go into this in a minute, but you may also notice that you can actually go ahead and edit some pages, that you have a lot more information available. So I am here logged in as myself. I can set up a profile just like many other websites. So that is something new if you aren't familiar with that. Back to our slideshow. The next component.
Hey Thomas, can I ask you a question from Ellen really quick?
Sure.
She asked, do you need to have an account to just look at Wikipedia?
No, you do not, and thank you for asking that, Ellen. You do not need to have an account to look at Wikipedia. You need to have an account if you ever want to do any editing or get involved in some of the conversations on a topic. So if you want to be a user, you know, if you just want to pull that book off the shelf, then you don't need an account. But Jeff, that's a great question.
Okay, thank you.
The thing is, if you do want to get more involved with wikis, where you're actually adding content or you know, not removing content, editing content, then you will need an account because they want to track who you are, what IP address you're coming in from, etc. So they do that. Because if you didn't have an account, folks, guess what? Wikipedia would be a mess. You would have hackers all over the place and spammers. And it would really be quite different than what it is now. An account means that there's accountability. So let's move on to link. Link is one of the main things involved with a wiki. I'm going to click over to the genealogy page for Wikipedia. Now remember, I'm logged in here, right? I am logged in. Did you notice? I'll get to this in a minute. I now have the ability to edit this page if I wanted to. That is what having an account gives you. Now, we can go through here. People have set up some nice subtopics like volunteerism. They reference random acts of genealogical kindness. They talk about records, types of records in genealogy research. And you see, when I click on something, it will go to another page. It can be very addictive. And here I am on the funeral page. Okay, I can backtrack and hit the back button and continue more and more here. There's Wikipedia's article talks about the family search library, types of genealogical information. They talk about patronymics. So again, there's a lot of information here. When you come down to the bottom, it even has footnotes. Imagine that. And that lends some legitimacy to the content here. Links for further reading. Some people have been smart and have put in the ISBN numbers so you can actually order the book or find out more. And then you may have a summary down here. You may be asked to rate the page. But the mainstay of a wiki are these links. And they're highlighted in a different color. When you hover over them, you do get a link, and that's what they look like. Great, back to our slideshow. Edit. Believe it or not, I know this is going to blow people's minds, but you can edit pages in Wikipedia. Let's go ahead and take a look at the genealogy page. I am in edit mode on genealogy. Okay, over here is article. Article gives me the view that everyone else sees. Remember, I'm logged in with my account. I can go to edit this page, and if I wanted to, I can change information here. Now, it doesn't look like it's very heavily coded. There are some codes here. You may see double brackets like this. A double bracket means an internal link, whereas a single bracket means that it is a link to an external site. And there are other things. REF, that is the tag for a footnote. It is very simple compared to other markup languages. You don't need, if you're doing HTML, this is way simpler than HTML. They have some helpers up here that will help you do editing. But if I wanted to, I could actually just come in here and start to make some edits. Now, I will tell you, do not think that I can make an edit to this page and that someone else won't notice it. Many wiki communities, like Wikipedia, have people that watch pages. And when I say watch pages, they just don't sit there and watch it all day. It means that when I make an edit, they will get an email saying someone has changed the genealogy page, and here's the edit. Because they basically are the gatekeeper. They are who the community has appointed to make sure that the information is grammatically correct, that it is legible, and that it isn't someone just spamming or hacking the site. So I have tried to add some information to the genealogy page, and it hasn't always been successful. But I do want you to know that you can edit a wiki, almost any wiki, unless it's a private wiki, and that is available. Markup language. This is what the markup language looks like. I'm going to go to Wikipedia's help screen to talk about markup language. It is quite simple. I don't want to get bogged down into this, but basically if you want a section heading, do you notice how you put two equal signs on either side? Okay. If something is italicized, it is two quotes. Notice the word headings over here is italicized. Okay. If you want something internal link, double bracket. And notice here, three equal signs will build a smaller subsection. You get the hang of this eventually. Not every wiki has this type of markup language. Some are more complicated. Some are very simple and actually use a WYSIWYG setting. WYSIWYG is what you see is what you get. WYSIWG, I had it, or WIG, I had to think about it for a minute. But that is a term where there's almost no markup language at all. So they talk here about how to set up a line break, how to set up a table of contents, how to indent. The colon will actually indent on the markup language. So there is a markup language. Some of it borrows from HTML. Here's one, block quote. Okay. Some do borrow here, div class equals center. You don't need to know all of these, but it does help the formatting of your wiki. And most wiki platforms will explain all this for you. History. Oh, for some reason, I got the wrong picture here, and I apologize. History. This is what history looks like. I will go to the actual page. Every wiki has a history page. Notice here, I can see that the last edit was on August 3rd, and someone did an undo. Let's see what else here. Mostly talking, people having a discussion. There are some contributions, but this will go all the way back to the beginning of when the page was created. And notice people are making changes. Revert spam again, revert one edit, off topic, etc. So every wiki does have a history page, which is nice to understand. How did this article on genealogy get to where it is today? You can always go to history and find that out. And then finally, I think this is the last one, discussion or talk. There is a discussion page, sorry, let's see, discussion page on every wiki page, at least with Wikipedia and with some of the major ones. What do I mean by discussion? Here. Someone is saying we need